Oh yes, oh yes. Okay, so we are back doing another commentary, which is an odd occurrence for me, but it seems to be becoming a running tradition for the Rainbow Six DLC. But anyway, we are here to talk about the upcoming Season 4 DLC for Rainbow Six Siege called Operation Red Crow, and basically all of the details have been released in an article or two separate articles from Rainbow Six or Ubisoft, whichever one. It doesn't matter. The devs, I guess you could say. And I'm basically going to run it down, explain a lot of things, and just run through my opinions and what I think of the abilities that are being brought to the table, and the operators in general, as well as roughly breaking down the weapons, as well as the actual CTU unit, or CTU itself. Don't need to add unit on the end of it. Regardless, we're just going to go straight into it. So in the background, firstly, I'll just explain there's going to be some gameplays of the Season 3 DLC involving the BOPE, and it's going to be all BOPE operators, and it's all going to be on the map Favela. Yeah, it's not great gameplays, but, you know, they're there, and I thought it was fitting because it's DLC discussion, so on and so forth. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go straight into it. So firstly, there's going to be two operators, and Ubisoft have decided to switch it up this time. Female attacking operator, male defending operator. Uh, the attacker is called Hibana, also known as Yumiko Imagawa. I don't know. It's Japanese. Butchering pronunciation. Goddamn Western culture. Anyway, second operator on the defensive side is going to be called Echo, which is kind of strange because like one's called Hibana and then one's called Echo. It's like traditional kind of Japanese name, and I looked up Hibana and it's apparently relating towards a renowned military unit in Japan, and it's the name of a unit. So I was like, all right, whatever. And then this other dude's just called Echo. Sounds like fucking be playing as an MC at a low level club on a Friday night or something downtown. Anyway, I digress. Also referred to as Masaru Enatsu. Uh, and basically, I'd go over the details right now, but I guess I'll just run through it because it's here on this list, and I'm kind of just paraphrasing directly from the article that was released by Ubisoft. But Hibana joined National Police Academy when she was 18 years old. Shortly after, she was recruited by the IHI, Prefectural Police Department Special Unit, due to her explosive leadership skills on the field. She gained the nickname Hibana, which means spark. So obviously that ties directly into her special ability, with which we'll get into later, but the Spark nickname, so on and so forth. As for Echo, Masuru Enatsu was born in Suginami City, Tokyo, a location known for its several animation studios and technology companies. After completing his bachelor degree at Tokyo Metropolitan University, Anatsu joined the National Police Academy. He was then recruited by Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department Special Unit before transferring to Aichi Unit. So basically, which I'll get into now as well, which I'll explain a bit more. But basically, they both joined the National Police Academy and then were both recruited into the Aichi Prefectural Police Department Special Unit. So going into the Special Assault Team, which I've been having like a running theory of, or been explaining with, well, only with the bulk, but basically Siege has a reputation for just, picking and choosing which which particular kind of like CTUs they want to take. So sometimes the more military based and like an actual special forces unit, and then other times there'll be branches of like the police department. So the Japanese one that they've picked is the special assault team instead of a the special forces group, which is the kind of the SAS Navy SEALs counterpart in Japan. So they've directly, taken the special assault team, which is a branch of the police department. So they'll be dealing with, I guess counterterrorism situations at times if required. But they're more leaning towards law enforcement and raids and all that kind of malarkey that's involved with like SWAT teams and so on and so forth. But you know, I mean, it's fitting anyway. I just thought I'd make that clear that it's not technically a specific military group or military force, I guess you could say, like a special forces unit per se. But special assault team, whatever. From what I could tell, because I honestly did not know that much about the S.A.T. They were apparently involved in a Japanese embassy hostage crisis in Peru, and I've never even heard about it. But there doesn't even seem to be that many details on it, and so on and so forth. But long story short, they were kept under wraps for a long amount of time, until apparently 1997, which the Ubisoft article says as well. Um, Other than that, they've done varied operations involving counter-terrorism kind of situations with. I'm basically just paraphrasing right now from the wiki, so I don't know the shit off the top of my head. So I'm not trying to make it out that I'm completely involved in this and reciting this from memory. No, it's not that. But apparently, on June 11th, 1999, a lone man armed with a hunting rifle stormed the Kiao Bank. I don't know Japanese. The Sachiba unit was deployed to resolve the incident, but a hostage was released and the man was arrested by police through negotiations, so they didn't even really have an effect in that situation. Um, but basically, when they actually became known was in the year 2000, where it says they took part in recapturing a hijacked bus in Fukuoka, something like that. I don't know, and that's basically where they really became into public medium. So, I mean, it's fitting that Ubisoft picked them, and they've got other things, other like operations that have been listed here, such as in 2003 they were deployed to resolve a hostage incident. But apparently the terrorist committed suicide or something. So whatever. I mean, it's kind of scattered. It's kind of scattered. It's not like super noticeable operations, and obviously because it's more of an Eastern CTU that it's not as well documented, and who knows? They're probably like undergoing operations all the time. They just don't make it into the media. But one of the ones that I will point out, which is pretty cool, is that in May 2007, an incident in Nagoya, an ex-Yakuza gangster named Hisato Obayashi was captured by officers based from the Aichi prefecture after he killed Kazuo Hayashi, a S.A.T operative stationed in Aichi, posthumously promoted to captain. He is the first S.A.T officer to be killed in the line of duty. His death has been forced National Public Safety Commission chairman to issue a press report stating that S.A.T Gear will be checking to see if it was responsible for Hayashi's unfortunate death. So there's controversy surrounding him, but I don't really want to go into controversy. But I just thought it was cool that like they're involved with the kind of taking down Yakuza members and so on and so forth. Obviously R.I.P. But yeah, that basically covers most of like the S.A.T assault team. Like I said, it's a law enforcement type unit, not exactly a military based unit. But from that, I guess I'll just move on. First, we're going to go straight into HIBANA, the attacking operator. She will be equipped with, well, basically what they seem to be focusing on with this Season 4 Operation Red Crow DLC is that they want to focus heavily upon close quarters, apparently. Well, that's what they said. They're meant to be proficient in close quarter battles. And apparently that's meant to embody their expertise or something like that, which I think is interesting, but at the same time, I think it's just kind of like one of these statements that they're making because it doesn't seem like they've really geared them to close quarters. Like to me, if you were gearing them to close quarters, you'd maybe give like the attacker an SMG or something like that. But it's just they have given him a shotgun, which I think does cater towards close quarters, but it's still an assault rifle as well. So basically, going straight into it, she will be equipped with a Supernova shotgun, which is an Italian-made shotgun by Benelli, pump action, 12 gauge, straightforward enough. There's not really much left to say about it. I mean, like, shotgun. Shotgun is shotgun. She will also be equipped with a Type 89, which is a 5.56 assault rifle manufactured in Japan. It's called like the Hoa Type 89 or something like that. I'm not too sure, but I've never really heard of the manufacturer, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But to me, it kind of resembles a kind of like a Belgian FN FAL or something like that, some kind of variant like that. Picture that I'm looking at right now has a bipod deployed as if it's some sort of LMG. So I mean, I don't know. It definitely says that it's an assault rifle, and it fires 5.56. As for the secondary weapons, pretty straightforward enough, and these will be both equipped on attackers and defenders, so I won't run over it 2 times. And then there's another point I want to make after that. But basically, she will have a Kaher PM series, which is a United States manufactured semi-automatic pistol. Um, it's a PM9, I believe, a PM9 or something like that, which I think is a 9.9 by 19 parabellum round, so it's 9mm basically. Straightforward enough. I mean, it's pistol is pistol. Then on top of that, they will have a P229, which is a bit interesting because it's kind of like a bigger slash smaller brother of the P226, manufactured by a Sig Sauer Swiss German company. It's meant to be more compact than the P226, which I think is like, it's interesting. I mean, I guess maybe they're trying to go for, like they stated, a more of a close quarters kind of setting with them, which I think will be interesting. Also, there's another thing that I want to point out. I don't know this 100%, but it looks like both of the operators are going to be high mobility, low armor. So they look like they're both going to be light classes per se, which I think is interesting because, I mean, they seem to be adding like more light attackers, but I don't necessarily feel that a light defender was the right way to go as well. So, I mean, I don't know. I like the idea of light attackers, but I don't really like the idea of light defenders. So, I mean, it is what it is as far as it comes down to that. But that's basically a wrap on the pistols. I mean, a secondary weapon's a secondary weapon. It's rarely used as much. What I will go into now, though, is about her special ability per se, which is definitely an interesting one, and I'm not sure how it's going to be worked. But they've given us some kind of backstory, saying that she's worked with with the FBI SWAT, in particular, I'm assuming they mean Thermite, in a classified ex-Kairos project or something like that. It's not really made exactly clear, but basically they've not really given a description about the ability that she's going to have, but there's a video and I can interpret it from the video and so on and so forth. But basically it looks like she's going to be getting some form of primary rifle weapon that can fire 6 thermite charges from a range, but it will only be in the width of 3 and then 2 stacked high. So I'm assuming it will make maybe like a 3 wide or maybe a 2 wide thermite breaching charge hole into reinforced walls and whatnot, which I definitely think is interesting. I like the idea of it. I just don't know how well it's going to be countered. I guess like mute might counter it and might not counter it. Like, who knows how that's going to work? Because I'm assuming it triggers immediately. Who knows if you fire it out a wall, if it will be them able to be recollected, Like, it's a bit unclear as far as like how mute would work. I'm assuming Bandit will work on it 100%. No problem with that. No idea how Jaeger would work on it, but then again, like in circumstances where this ability or this equipment would be used, maybe not necessarily on the inside of a structure, maybe it would be used on the outside of a structure, so Jaeger might not even benefactor into the equation, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely interesting, and I mean, the information is really vague, so I'm just kind of interpreting what I've seen from the video, but long story short, you get some kind of primary rifle that fires thermite charges onto reinforced walls. In a nutshell, that's it. How much is going to get? Is she only going to get 2, the same as thermite? Probably. They're probably going to try and keep it balanced. How big will the hole be? Who knows? Will it be countered by mute? Who knows? There's still a lot of unanswered questions, but obviously there's not a lot of information either, but there's enough information to be able to interpret an opinion on it and give an opinion and so on and so forth. So That's basically Hibana, running down with it. I'm going to move on quickly. I'm on to my second gameplay now, but this is 18 minutes, but I want to keep it rolling. Echo. So, once again, Echo, straightforward enough. He's going to be equipped with a supernova as well, pump action 12 gauge, Benelli designed shotgun. On top of that, what he's also going to get is an MP5 SD4, which I believe is the more recent variant, or it's a more, I don't know if it's a more recent variant or if it's an older variant, but it's definitely going to have an internal suppressor, which is interesting because having an internal suppressor built into the gun hasn't been done before. Um, so I'm kind of interested to see how it works. And I've always been a preacher that I'd love to see more internally built suppressors in certain weapons in the DLC operators that they release, or just in general in the game, because I just don't feel like suppressors really have the place in this game. I find them a bit irrelevant at times, but definitely interesting as far as that's concerned. But obviously the MP5, straightforward enough. It's got a suppressor built into it, manufactured by Heckler and Koch, German made. Fires 9.9 or 9 by 19. Parabellum rounds, 9mm submachine gun, straightforward enough, well known, well documented. Don't really say anymore. On top of that, like I said, they will both have the same pistols, the PM9 and the P229. Straightforward enough, pistol, and like I already said, the shotgun as well. Now, moving on to what it looks like the ability would be. Um, it's kind of an interesting one. The way I was thinking that I would describe it is, um, it's basically a mobile drone Valkyrie camera. So, which is odd for defense, but I don't know how the mobility is gonna work and whatnot. But it definitely seems interesting. If I'm looking back and watching this video right now, it looks like it's controlled like it's a normal drone, and just like from your like your iPad thingy or whatever. But it looks like you can deploy it into a corner like it's a normal kind of camera, like a surveillance camera or a Valkyrie camera, and you'll be able to leave it in that corner turned on, which obviously probably entails that it's gonna have some kind of sound or something like that. And then if you can control it, you can then bring it down to the ground and operate it like a normal drone, which I definitely think is interesting, but I hate to say it, I don't really see it as being overly innovative. It's kind of just like I said, it's a mobile Valkyrie drone. I mean, a mobile Valkyrie camera drone. That's basically it, you know. But moving into what they were saying about how they came up with the idea of like the operator. They don't really give too much information, but an official like statement they gave was this mix gave us a perfect platform to create an operator who would challenge the tactical methods seen in game. Up to date, we suddenly were in uncharted waters, which allowed for more unconventional options. It was pretty exciting. So maybe there's something not as not as well documented in the video. Another thing that I want to point out that it is controlled like a conventional drone, as in you're an operator and you control it by a screen and whatnot. But the screen definitely does show that you're controlling it from your arm, like a Twitch drone, which is interesting because the emblem itself showed some kind of like sonar radar coming out of it. Just similar to how the defending operator showed a a kind of a burning thermite charge around the emblem itself. So I mean, it's interesting. Maybe there's more to it that I'm being seen, but literally in the video, and I mean, it is literally only a 20-second video. Um, all it shows is a drone in a corner, like basically hovering there, and then he swaps to a control panel attached to to his wrist basically, brings the drone down and operates it like a normal drone. Which, I mean, it is what it is as far as like it is what it is as far as it's concerned. But maybe there's more to it that isn't being made clear yet. But this Saturday, they will be doing a well. Obviously, it's the season 3 Pro League finals for both Xbox and PC. So as in usual tradition, they will be doing a demonstration live during that event, midway through the event or at some point during the event. I'm not sure exactly, but that'll be undergoing. But as far as like that's concerned, I mean, it doesn't really seem as though there's that much information about Echo as there is about Hibana. Like, it's really easy to understand what what Hibana's ability is going to be, but then Echo is kind of it's not as clear, but it's definitely aspects of it are made really clear. Um, Also, as I was saying, I was going to check like the background of where they really came up from this idea. It doesn't really seem as if they've really like given any description about where this came from, or as if it was influenced from somewhere else or something like that. Other than the fact that uh, official statement: this defender is a celebration of Japanese influence on modern technology. So we already know that he went to some kind of he was born in a technological district in Tokyo or something, some city, Suginami City, which is meant to be like on the technical forefront, technical advancements or whatever in Japan. So I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, it's straightforward enough, and I'm not really complaining, but I would have liked to have a bit more information. Just But I mean, like I said, the aspects are clear, so maybe there's something else there that I'm not seeing. Maybe it auto marks people, maybe it doesn't. Maybe friendlies can operate it as well, or maybe like I don't know. I don't know. Well, I mean, obviously friendlies will be able to operate it, but I mean, have like full control over it. I doubt it, but honestly, like I said, I don't really see it as being overly innovative. It just to me seems like you know, a a mobile Valkyrie camera slash drone. That's literally all it is. Other than that, there wasn't really any other topical points that I wanted to touch on. It's basically just covering the operators and my opinions about it. So I guess like for a finalized recap, I'll say that I really like the idea of the attacking operator. It's a good idea to have a variation for Thermite. I've always found myself in a situation where Thermite is often required as a necessity, but in terms of being a well-rounded operator, he definitely excels in that. But at a certain point, it does become stale having to play Thermite on a regular basis or constantly have to bring Thermite. It's one of them situations where if you don't have him and you need him, it's the worst thing ever. But if you need him and if you don't need him, but you have him, it just feels like demoralizing because it's like I could have been playing a different operator, that could have benefited the team a lot more. So having the ability to have a different variation now, and depending on how good Hibana is, I mean, who honestly knows? Who honestly knows? We will have to see. But honestly, I like the idea of it. I mean, it's good to have two Thermites, and it's kind of shocking that it's taken this long to have two Thermites. Um, Part of me feels like, I mean, it's definitely the right idea to put it in a Japanese CTU. I feel with the whole technological advancements and whatnot. But yeah, like I don't have a problem with it. I really like the idea overall. I really like the idea. But as for Echo, I feel like it seems a bit uninnovative and look at it from the aspect of Valkyrie and just teammates using cameras in general. Like if you're playing with with a team or just like a couple of people, cameras are always going to be a prevalent thing. But if you're just playing with randoms that don't know how to use them, or if you're just playing with people that don't even play Valkyrie, it just doesn't seem. Pardon me, I just burped. It just doesn't seem as prevalent overall. But that's just my 2 cents on the matter. I mean, it is what it is. Don't get me wrong, I do like the idea, and maybe there is more to Echo than has been seen. But I guess we'll find out Saturday. Maybe I'll do a quick recap, or maybe I'll update with tags or speech bubbles on this video just to like clarify certain things. But other than that, I don't think there's really anything else I have to say. The gameplay has ended. So it is what it is. Yeah, honestly, is what it is. I can't wait to see the DLC. It should be interesting when it comes around. And like I said, that is oh well, maybe I didn't say this. It will be November 17th, which is next Thursday, and I'm assuming it will be next Thursday for season pass holders, and then approximately, well, not approximately, a week after, directly for the general public and whatnot. So maybe I'll do a recap video when it comes out and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's been my discussion and whatnot on the Season 4 Operation Red Crow DLC coming to Rainbow Six